YouTube, what's going on, baby? It's your boy Ron Real, aka Double R, back in the building, back with another video, back with another banger. Today we are going to be looking at a gift that the good people over at Nuair sent me. They sent me their all new 250 count thermoelectronic cigar humidor. Y'all hang tight and stay tuned. All right, Double R Army, we got a really nice video here, very good feature. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to the Nuair team for the consideration and accepting me for me getting this nice unit here. Actually, I'm behind the race as far as comparing the other units, so I started my channel a lot later than a lot of the other guys, so they were able to get a lot of the other models that Nuair has previously released. But I'm very excited about this one. This is actually going to make a great addition for me. This one will stay probably down here in the studio room, as it is a perfect size. I'll keep my larger ones upstairs, and this looks like it will hold just enough for me where I won't have to do a lot of traveling. I'll be able to just keep the cigars right down here. So some of the features that I want to talk about on this Nuair 250 count. First and foremost, the major thing that they're considering or they're stating about this unit is it is more environmentally more energy efficient than the previous units that they had. Some other features that are involved in this as well too is it also has a digital hygrometer, which of course we'll do some close-ups and show you guys a little B-roll of that. The door has a double pane glass. It also has a thermostat that ranges from 52 to 74. Those are your cooling ranges that you can cool in. It includes multiple interchangeable Spanish cedar shelving, and it also has a new locking mechanism as well too. And the huge thing on this one too is it has a fan to control the humidification and push the humidification around in the unit, which is really nice. So those are the major features of this thing. Again, even looking at the box, you'll look at some other unboxings where they actually have it in the box. I wanted to take it out of the box first to make sure nothing was broken or nothing was mishandled or anything like that. Actually, to be honest, I've had this for close to a week. I've been able to season it. And as you'll see in the door, I have another digital hygrometer just to see how far off the digital hygrometer is that comes with the unit. So this has been seasoning for 4 to 5 days. I finally took the distilled water out, and now I'm just using a regular Boveda pack to make sure everything is toned down and in the right conditions before I sit cigars in. So you guys hang tight, and we'll come back and we'll get a little bit closer, in-depth look at this unit. All right, so we're back. We're gonna take a closer look at this Nuair 250 count thermoelectric cigar humidor. First and foremost, I wanna say that this thing is very aesthetically pleasing, sounding like a gold member. This is aesthetically pleasing to look at, but it has the kind of silver gunmetal gray door, and we'll get you some pictures of it on the side or some video. It's black on the side, very nice colorway on this. You got the Nuair logo on the bottom. You have your control panel on the top. So that's what I want to talk to you about first, is the control panel. The first button is the light. This is one of the few things on the unit that I'm not really that crazy about. It's almost kind of pointless to me. If you're gonna put the light on there, make sure it's really, really bright, or I would just kind of leave it out. For me, it's like, even here right on top of it, other than looking at the very top tray, you can't really see anything. So that's your light button. The next button is your degrees. You can either do it in Fahrenheit or Celsius. I know a lot of people overseas don't use Fahrenheit, so the Celsius option is there for you as well too. As you see, I have mine set at 65. You can set it as low as 52, and you can go as high as 74, which I think is very good. The next two buttons are to change the degrees of whatever you want to go up and down to. Now, another thing on the outside, you have your locking mechanism. I want to go ahead and mention that and get that out the way too. So this is the other thing that I don't like about the unit. So you got your 2 keys here. All right, it's locked now. But if you pay attention, I'll show you, I can run my finger through that. I personally don't like that. When I lock it, I want it to just be sealed. I'd rather not have any gaps at all. That might not be a deal breaker for most people. Again, not a deal breaker for me. It's kind of me being nitpicky, but that's just something I like. If it's gonna be locked, I want it to lock. So those are probably the 2 major things for me. I'm kind of looking at like, eh. Another thing I want to mention too is the digital hygrometer right there. And then I also set one in as I was seasoning my humidor, just to make sure and to see how accurate and how correct the hygrometer was that came from the New Era factory itself. If you can tell, the humidity is at 64, my temperature is at 65. On my Zycar, my external that has nothing to do with the unit, my humidity is at 64% and my temperature is at 65. This thing is pretty spot on. I didn't have to do any calibration or anything. I literally just seasoned the unit, put the Boveda pack in there, and that was it. Also, you're gonna have different methods of ways that you can season the humidor. It'll come with the water tray that you can put your distilled water in. I filled it up pretty much close to the top and let it sit for around 4 to 5 days. My relative humidity got up to about 85% and stayed there, and that's when I knew that it was pretty good. Took the distilled water out, put the Boveda pack in, and in about 2 days it got to where it is now, where it stays very consistent. If you don't want to deal with the distilled water, Boveda sells a seasoning pack where it is an 84 or 85% pack. You leave it in there for 7 days, 7 to 10 days, same kind of concept, but since it came with this and since I have distilled water, I just went ahead and used the old school method. We'll look at the handle on the side. You do have a handle to open the unit up. The door is nice and heavy. Has a you can tell this is not cheap. This is well-made stuff. Very nice cedar smell. It doesn't smell like plastic. You can tell, I believe this is real cedar wood. So you have your top tray here. Another thing too you have to be conscious of, you gotta have your door kind of open to get the shelves out. I don't know if that's something in the future they could work on a design to be able to move the shelves around without having the door all the way open, because sometimes you just never know. The position that you have it in might not be able to allow you to open the door past a 90-degree angle. So I would love to see something where they do some kind of insert or something to be able to remove shelves without having the door open pretty much all the way. So you have 2 Spanish shelves, and then you also have a tray. As you see, the Boveda pack is in here. You can see the digital hygrometer in there, where your battery will be at. Smells really good. So you see here, it can go here. If you want it a little higher, let's see, you can put it up there. Yep, you can put it on the bottom. Can move it around. So that's always nice. I'll go back and put it to where it was. Probably would keep it away from the top, because looking at this display here, you probably wouldn't be able to see it. Test that theory out real quick. Yeah, can't see it. So I would probably keep it away from the top. All right, we'll run with it like how it comes. I like the setup of how it comes. Another thing I was noticing too, I've seen on some older models of New Era, they have stops where if you have loose cigars in there, that it'll stop it. Doesn't have it here. Make sure I got that in right. But overall, like a very nice looking unit though. Like I said, you can tell it's very well put together. Like I mentioned before too, you have double pane glass, so you have a layer of glass on each side, which is nice. Just a really nice heavy door. Also, I can feel the fan in here, which is good, because if you notice, a lot of times, even in my bigger humidors, as you'll see on my humidor tour, I don't have an internal fan. So every month or every couple of months, I'll have to move cigars around to make sure cigars are staying at the right humidification. With this, you don't have to move cigars around. I could just put boxes of cigars in there, and the fan is going to circulate air, keeping the humidification equal and even throughout the whole unit. So that is always a very nice thing too. Just love the smell of that Spanish. But yeah, we'll test it. I have a few empty boxes of cigars over here. This thing is rated at 250 cigars. I'm gonna say you probably could get that in there, but I mean, that's probably at the optimal size, like a Corona, and that's probably jam-packed. And as you see here, a thing that would be alarming to me putting that many cigars in it is if you don't have the stops and you're opening doors, you have to be very careful moving stuff, and you could just spill cigars everywhere, and that would just be a bad day. So I'm gonna take a few of these boxes, see how many of these things fit in here. Now, the tray isn't that huge, it's not that big. I would say I'd probably say anywhere between maybe 30 cigars in there, comfortably 30. So, but you know, again, if you like storing boxes, you can always take this out, but I'm gonna leave the shelves in just for reference. That's it. It fits, but that's tight. Yeah, man, you'd have to have some really optimal. I mean, and this Rambo box is not bad. So it's an odd shaped box, and it actually fits in here. It's just fitting other stuff in here. So for me, I'm looking at, you would probably have to do a combination of boxes and loose cigars. I don't know how. Now, if you take a shelf out, that probably will do a lot better. Much better. But as you see, if you take shelving out, you can fit a lot more stuff in there. But 250 is gonna be a stretch, at least in my opinion. I think that's gonna be a little bit of a stretch. But it's still not a bad amount for what it is. I also wanted to give you guys a little bit of specs on the unit too. I know I really didn't get into that earlier, so we'll look at the specs. This unit comes in at right at 30 pounds. We are looking at 1.16 cubic feet of space. Let me see. I don't see any dimensions. Eric, did you see any, could you find any dimensions on this? Like how wide, how long and stuff it is?
Yeah, I measured it ahead of time. It was 13.5 inches wide.
13.5 inches wide.
18 inches tall, just over 18 inches tall.
Just over 18 inches tall.
And 18.5 inches deep.
And 18.5 inches deep. All right, well, we'll run with that. Another thing I wanted to mention was the price of this unit. This unit comes in at $399. Of course, I know everybody that's a little steep for most people, myself included. Thankfully, New Era was able to send me the unit over to review the product. But they were nice enough to give the people that are watching the Ron Real TV channel a $40 off coupon code. So it will take that from $399 to $360. All you have to do is when you are applying the code, type in Ron Real TV, which we'll put at the bottom of the screen to make sure. I will also put a link for the description, or a link for the unit in the description tab as well too, so to get you $40 off. But all in all, overall, I'm gonna say I'm a fan of this unit. Of course, like I said, I'm gonna sit this right over here next to my Rabbit Air. I have a table that is literally the perfect size. Gonna be great over there. Didn't really want to put anything too big down here. That's why I was able to put my other units upstairs. This will be perfect though. Think I'll be able to hold a couple of boxes, quite a few singles down here. Definitely more pros than cons. The only cons were me kind of nitpicking again. The locking mechanism, I don't like how it locks, or it has a little bit of a gap that you can open. And also the door not being able to be at a 90-degree angle to pull the shelves out. And I didn't think the light was, I think the light could have been better, but again, that's just me nitpicking. Overall, I think it's a great unit. If you are looking for a really high quality product at a really decent price, you know, if you want something nice, you know, something a little bit more than a desktop humidor or a Tupperdoors or anything like that, I think this is a good option. So you are tuned into the New Era 250 count thermoelectronic cigar humidor. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to New Era for sending the unit over. And if you guys want to check it out, be sure to check them links out. With that being said, you know the name of the game is relaxation and enjoyment. And don't forget to be driven, never motivated. We'll catch y'all on this next one. Peace.